Hello, all of you beautiful babes. Welcome to the Not of This World podcast with me, your host, Jaina. This is my introduction for what the podcast is all about. For starters, it's more than different topics to be discussed. It is a movement, a way of life. This will be a place for the misunderstood to feel understood. I feel like many of you on some level or another have felt like this world we live in does not align with your soul. There's so many ways a person can feel this misalignment of their soul within the world we live in. There are also so many depths to how heavily this can be felt. Do you feel like you aren't in agreement with the society we live in and how it operates today? Have you refused to conform to the societal norms placed onto you either as a child or by the world? That is good. You're listening to the right podcast right now. If your soul is not of this world, then you more than likely feel insanely isolated and alone in this life. It is very important to hear what I am about to say. You are not alone. We were divinely crafted and chosen not to blend into this world because we were put into the world to make a change within it, to become one. This podcast is for everyone because it will be a variety podcast, but more specifically, it is for the genuine souls in this world who are not of the world. In John 17, verse 16 in the Bible, it says, "They are not of the world, even as I am not of it." I have always seen this world and life in general in a different light than most. My entire life, I have always felt so misunderstood, outcasted, judged, overlooked, disliked, and really just like the black sheep. Can you relate? I consider myself a vibrant soul who loves making new connections and values friendship and love. So I enter every encounter with nothing but genuine intentions and pure love in my heart. I have found that throughout the last few years, as I had more intense spiritual awakenings and became more in tune with myself and started bettering myself as a person, the harder and harder it became to form lasting connections. Sometimes a short-term friendship or relationship has emerged, but even then, they always end up walking away from me without any logical explanation, and I've always been left wondering what is wrong with me. The more this happened, the more I thought something was wrong with me as a person. I realized there was never anything wrong with me. The work I was constantly putting in to heal my childhood and generational traumas, and the more I found my true self, the brighter the light inside of me shined onto others who were unhealed. You know the saying, light drives out darkness? Well, there is a lot of darkness in this world right now. And a lot of it rubbed off on people, and it now lives inside of them. If you feel that you are an empath, like me, you know this to be true because you feel it. But as long as there is even a flicker of light, the darkness can be driven out. We unfortunately live in a generation where the majority of the population consists of ego-driven people who feel that power is more important than purpose or love. People of this world today seem to consider power to be held together by becoming careless, famous, heartless. They strive to be validated by this world that we live in. That is not good. Real strength and power is everything opposite of that. What the world needs more than anything right now is compassion, love, light, and wisdom. Your life is meant to have purpose. What is a life without purpose or love? Being different is such a beautiful thing to be because it keeps becoming more and more rare. People often don't like what they can't understand. So being rare is both a blessing and a curse in this world because it is intertwined with feelings of loneliness, unworthiness, and confusion. You see, I feel a very strong gravitational pull towards anyone who feels or has felt the way that I do. I know that being chosen to have a soul that doesn't belong to this world holds so many blessings. And I also know the crippling isolation, self-doubt, and pain that it brings. It's important for people who are light workers to stand strong and not conforming to this world and finding their power within their isolation. I am here to help you with that and so much more. This podcast is going to have many different topics that will all have some incorporation of not being of this world and how it applies in a positive way. These podcast topics will be ranging from self-improvement and healing, motivational pep talks, funny, relatable stories, interviews with others on what makes them different, some of my stand-up comedy skits and laughing at myself about them, relationship advice, and of course, religion. If you are not religious, you can choose not to watch those episodes, or maybe you will feel as though you want to. The name of my podcast actually came to me through God. When I opened up the Bible to try to figure out a name for my podcast, when I was feeling this heaviness and isolation, I used to always say out loud, my soul is not of this world. I don't belong to this world. I should not be in this world. I always felt so misaligned. So when I opened up the Bible to John 17, verses 14 through 19, it said this: I had given them your word, and the world has hated them, for they are not of the world, any more than I am of the world. My prayer is not that you take them out of the world, but that you protect them from the evil one. They are not of the world, even as I am not of it. Sanctify them by the truth. Your word is the truth. As you sent me into the world, I have sent them into the world. For them I sanctify myself, that they too may be truly sanctified. I consider myself an extremely multifaceted woman, so all my podcast episodes are going to be holding a completely different vibe to them. Some will be much more lighthearted and funny, and others are going to be informative and inspirational. Please follow me on here and subscribe to my YouTube to physically see my face on video during the only audio podcasts that are on here. Simply search Not of This World Podcast. For those of you who don't know me yet, I've been streaming on Twitch for the past 5 years. I love streaming and everyone that has become a part of my community. I consider them my family. But over the past year and a half or so, I just knew I was so ready to start something new and something that I consider my own type of content so that I can fall in love with streaming again. Instead of following the trends that have changed so dramatically over the past few years, especially unset expectations placed on being a female streamer on Twitch. I just know with every fiber of my being that I have a purpose and a true calling, and I am following that right now. finally. In the near future, I'm going to be live streaming on Twitch these podcasts. Definitely the ones where I interview special guests. Please follow me on Twitch. My name is Hot Tea, HOTTEA, like the tea that you drink. This concludes my intro, and I love each and every one of you beautiful souls, and I look forward to all that is about to unfold. And I hope you are too.